Welcome to Game Night in the Region on the Region Sports Network, streaming live on the internet at regionsports.com, facebook.com/regionsports, and youtube.com/regionsports. We come to you tonight from Portage High School as Region Sports Network presents the Lake Central Indians taking on the Portage Indians in the DAC Boys Hoops Showdown. Michael Brenner here on site for the play-by-play, and joining me is another Mike. It's so nice they named us twice. Mike Jamia. Mike, good to be by your side here tonight for a great game between Lake Central and Portage.
Yeah, excited for this game. It's the battle between the Indians. And, you know, it's always great to be here in Portage and, you know, any basketball arena for that matter, you know, for some Indiana high school basketball hoops. But, you know, you get the smell of the popcorn. You know, you see that there's a certain energy and just vibrancy to the crowd tonight, and it should be a good one.
I do enjoy the smell of popcorn, so it's and it's always right around us usually. For whatever reason, I feel like whenever people sit around the broadcast area, they always have like the best smelling food, and it just tempts us throughout the entire broadcast. It's always fun. All right, we got two good teams here. You got Portage, a team that's a game over 500. I talked when we had the game against Hammond Central. It's a team that around January, teams are usually trying to find themselves. They have their identity kind of already figured out. The more I look at Portage, the more I try to figure Portage out, I feel like they're still trying to build that identity, and a lot of it has come because there's been some injuries, so it's not having all the pieces in place at the same time. Tonight, you've got your usual starting five, or what you would have projected as your starting five, back in the lineup tonight.
Yeah, your guys are, you know, I mean, you have your core, and it's been a core that's been building and gelling together over the past couple seasons, and it's gotten to the point now where you're going to need to win some games. And I give them credit. You know, they play a tough schedule. Their holiday tournament, playing Fishers, that's no easy task. But fact of the matter is they've lost 5 of their last 6, and they lost 2 of their last 3 at home. And those 2 losses at home of their last 3 were very winnable games. So this team is just looking to grow into who they're going to be come March. Because, look, in Indiana, everyone makes it to the dance, right? And who knows, maybe you draw a bye and you're playing the winner of Hobart and Lowell, right? Like, anything can happen.
Correct.
You just have to be playing your best basketball at the end of the year, and they just need to take some strides to become that. But they have their hands full tonight and an undefeated Lake Central team. Yeah,
that Chesterton sectional can always be quite a gauntlet when you have some of the teams in the DAC and then other teams that are always looking to play spoiler maker in a lot of scenarios. But to the Portage team, and we'll stick with that for just a second, it's not like they're losing badly. I mean, they're only losing by a couple of points here and there. It's finally trying to win, like get over that hump, and I thought that Hammond game might spark that, but then they play a really good Maryville team that's undefeated in conference play now, and they lose in overtime to them just in a very close game. So we'll see kind of what happens. Like you said, Lake Central coming in 13-0 to start this season, one of the best starts in like 30 years for this program, getting a big win against Valparaiso on Friday, and now coming in here and playing a kind of a beat-up Portage team, if you will. So, but the thing for Lake Central tonight, they've got 3 of their starters not playing in the game tonight, so that's going to play a factor. So if you're Portage, you're like, okay, we have an opportunity here. We need to take advantage of this here tonight. And obviously, you're not knowing that maybe coming into the game, and then you start looking at who's warming up, and you're like, hey, wait a minute, there's an opportunity here. Let's take advantage of this.
Yeah, if you're Portage, with the talent you have on your roster, opportunity knocks every night. But now when you see a Lake Central team that is down 3 starters, and you're thinking to yourself, we're gonna barrel the door over. We're gonna knock the door over. We're gonna bust through. We're at home. Got to get these bad tastes out of your mouth with these losses at home to Valparaiso as well as East Chicago. And those were some games that you really. I mean, if you're Portage, you really think that you should have won those games, and we don't know what it is. It's it could be a matter of guys thinking that they can win and hoping that they can win if they play their best. But at a certain point, if you're going to be a winner, that mindset has to shift from if we play our best, we hope to win, to we're winning tonight. Period.
Well, one thing that I'm impressed with, and I think they're winners for this right off the bat, the candy stripe pants that Portage wears.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a big fan of that. As
pageantry here in Portage.
Yes. So Lake Central, as we said, 13-0 on the season, best start in about 30 years. They haven't beat Portage since 2022, so it's been a couple of years, but this is definitely a new-look Lake Central team, as we'll tune you in. Oh, this is the fight song. I thought it was the national anthem right off the bat. Oh, we'll stick with this.
To some Portage faithful, they consider this the national anthem.
Fair enough. But Lake Central kind of, building this program here with Coach Sexton in his first season, different culture to an extent. And I asked him before the game, I said, what's different? And he said, the big thing for us right now that he feels like is defense, the commitment to playing strong defense. And it seems so simple, but it does make a difference, because when you're only giving up 42 points, 42.5 points a game, that does play a big factor in it.
You mentioned this at the top of the broadcast about identity. And you talked about how Portage, how they're trying to come into their own and do all that. Lake Central has an identity.
Yeah.
And that has made a great deal of difference in the results of their games and what they hang their hat on. Portage is a very talented team. Lake Central is as well. But many would argue that Portage has got guys that can score the basketball. They got guys that are athletic. They can run and they can do all these things. And, when they're clicking, they're a hard team to beat. But there needs to be some sort of, core tenet of who you are as a team and as a unit. And Lake Central has that, at being an incredible man-to-man defensive team. And, it's gotten them thus far.
And Lake Central coming off of that big win on Friday against Valparaiso, beating Valpo for the first time since 2014. So that was a big win for them on Friday, as we will get you tuned in to our national anthem here at Portage High School. Oh, a fabulous rendition of our national anthem. I missed the name of that a young lady here from Portage. We'll try to get that to you. That was a wonderful job on the national anthem.
It's always better live.
Oh, yes. All right, we're bringing those starting lineups for both teams here as they are introduced to the crowd here at Portage High School. And I'll tell you what, the student section for Portage tonight, really impressive. They got middle school recognition night, so plenty of fans here in the stands as well for a Tuesday night after kind of some nasty weather. Not too bad of a crowd here on a Tuesday.
Yeah, 2-hour delay for the Portage kids. And LC, you said it was an e-learning day?
We did have an e-learning day, but here come the starting lineups for Lake Central. First down onto the floor is going to be Spencer Gale, a 5'10 junior. Number 20, a 6'1 junior, Noah Zabador. And then you've got the senior, the 6-foot senior, Xavier Williams. As the lights have gone down, so we've got to turn our lights on. Jake Smith, the 6'6 senior, also for Lake Central, number 30, along with the 6'4 sophomore, number 33, Noah Enyart, in that lineup for Lake Central. Spencer Gale getting his first minutes on varsity tonight, and he gets them as a starter. We saw both Noahs, Noah Sabador and Noah Enyart, in that game against Valpo as well. And now the starting lineup for your Portage Indians. First out on the floor, number 3 is Omari Evans, the 6-foot junior. Then number 14, the 6'1 junior, Sam Wellman. And now number 15, a 6'5 junior, Michael Wellman. Along with the 6'3 junior, Garrett Clark, number 20. And then number 24, the 6'7 senior, Jalen Johnson. And as a senior, he's looking for that contract extension for maybe oh wait, that's the wrong Jalen Johnson, my bad. I'm sure he would like a contract extension, but.
Yeah, he wants to be paid one of the highest in the NFL. Yeah.
We'll see. But we talk about we're talking about the Portage team a little bit. The other thing to look forward to if you're a Portage fan, this whole starting lineup, except for one, juniors. So great opportunities to play some of the top kids and some of the top players in this conference, and then doing it again as a senior as well. That plays a big factor.
Yeah, and it's a matter of seeing how far this team can go and reach their potential in their junior year, because sectional championships aren't just won in one season. Usually you got to make a run before you are able to overcome and get to the mountaintop.
Both guys missed the tip, and it ends up falling towards Portage. So Clark making his way to the basket, can't get it to go. Smith down with the rebound for Lake Central. We'll give you our Tuesday night forecast brought to you by Economy Electric Heating and Cooling. It is a balmy 35 degrees outside compared to last week's weather. That's your Economy Electric Heating and Cooling game night forecast brought to you by our friends at Economy Electric Heating and Cooling, keeping you cool in the summer and cozy in the winter as Noah Enyart drops a three-pointer to get the scoring started, getting a shot at being a starter tonight, and he drops one home from long range.
This Lake Central team has been shooting the ball well from downtown lately. If you're Portage, you need to get out and close out on all these shooters. Yeah,
we saw against Valparaiso trying to go for a little high-low action. And you're getting his hand in there. Here comes Gale sprinting down the floor, gives it up to Smith, who kisses it off the glass.
Yeah, that is not a wise pass to make from that angle, and then getting back defensively. Lake Central at a 2-on-1 there for the easy transition basket.
Sam Wellman with the palm there, trying to get something going here for Portage. A 5-0 run to start things up for Lake Central. They started on a 8-0 run as Jalen Johnson right underneath at that right block.
Great block-to-block screen, frees up Johnson on the right block for the easy two, and Portage gets on the board.
Gale across the timeline, gives up to Xavier Williams for three. Misses on that one. Rebound comes down to Clark. He looks to pass it out here as Wellman looks to get the signal from Coach Klaus in his third season as a Portage leader here. Clark dishing it off to Johnson, who gets swarmed, puts it up to the glass. Can't get it to go. Coach Klaus, a Portage grad. Back in 1994. Smith goes up against Johnson, goes over that 6'7 frame and gets the bucket.
That's good action there. That pass from the elbow getting into the left block. Same side of the floor, very nice, and makes a move, goes middle and scores.
I'll tell you what, one thing about Portage that I always have respected, and the more and more I do this and more Portage games that I do, as Evans goes for three, it doesn't fall. And you're trying to get that box-out rebound, kicks it off to Smith there, is the community here buys into these programs, and that wouldn't be evident if you didn't see so many graduates come back and end up being coaches here at Portage. Coach Klaus being one of them, our colleague Doug Nelson being another one when he was one of the baseball coaches. This ball was loose on the floor there. Salvador gets a hold of it. Enyart travels with that one as he was trying to make a drive after a shot fake.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of pride in this community, and Portage just having that identity as a community as being a blue-collar, hard-working, hard-nosed, just gritty, community of people that are just they're just going to outwork you. And Portage tough is a real thing. Garrett Clark.
Clark from the corner for three.
They're going to need all their toughness tonight.
Trying to get around this press. Williams trying to get that and one like he got on Friday to win it for Lake Central. Here comes Smith fighting his way. He'll go to the line and shoot two after the whistle. Yeah, one thing about Portage that I really enjoy is they are a tough, grinded-out type of team. They are going to be gritty. They're going to be physical. Smith knocks down that first free throw. I'm sure that comes to the relief of Coach Sexton right off the bat here in his first year with Lake Central. They're working at the collegiate level for a short period of time over at Cal College.
Yeah, Sexton's done an outstanding job with this group so far this season.
Johnson for three in the corner as well. Can't get it to go. Clark cleaning up on the rebound. He'll go to the line and shoot two. That first foul, by the way, was on Michael Wellman for Portage. This one is going to be against Xavier Williams, who will be going to Iowa next year for his football talents.
And this is one of the keys to the game for Portage here is they're going to have to get second chance opportunities against Lake Central. They're going to have to crash the glass offensively. I mean, it's not one of those teams where Lake Central, you can crash everybody. You got to still have some guys back in transition. But nonetheless, you have a size advantage, and you're hoping that you're going to win the rebounding battle here. But Lake Central, I mean, pound for pound, this is a very good rebounding team. They do a very good job of boxing out, and Portage is going to have to find a way to utilize their size and just be better tonight.
Well, the press works there. Wellman tries to get the three, can't get it to go. Jake Smith trying to pass over the top. Usually not a pass that most coaches will recommend, as Williams fights through the contact, can't get the bucket to fall, but he'll go to the line and shoot two. It'll be the second foul against Portage here in this quarter. There's a couple of check-ins for them as well. They'll almost have a whole line change here as Powell, Kobe, I didn't see the other.
Jayshawn King, I believe.
Jayshawn King, all right, as Williams knocks down the first free throw. His first point of the game. So Carter Kobe, Daylon Powell.
Yeah, and if you're Portage, you're going to have to utilize a pressure defense. You're going to have to think a little bit outside of the box. You're going to have to maybe get into a 1-3-1. Maybe you're going to have to get into a diamond press. You're going to have to do things and give this Lake Central team different looks, especially considering the fact they are down 3 starters.
Kick to Clark here at the right side. Pulls up from the free throw line and gets the jumper to go. We had that game against Hammond Central not that long ago, as that pass is going to go out of bounds. Well, Williams tried to save it. He does save it. No. They're going to say backcourt violation that it got over and then back. But what an effort over there on the far side. He's a running back. He's not a receiver.
Yeah, but that's that pressure, and that's what Portage is going to need to do in order to hang with this Lake Central team. Like I mentioned, they're down 3 starters. Spencer Gale is making his first start in his varsity career.
That's my understanding, and according to the stats that we were given, his name isn't even on the stat sheet, so he's getting his first varsity minutes of the season.
Yeah,
Spencer Gale.
Yeah, and he's guarding Jayshawn King now at the volleyball line. So it's going to be one of those things where if you're Portage, you're going to have to be able to, play smart, utilize your experience as well as your physicality.
So here comes Jake Smith up the floor, gives to Gale, who will run the point here tonight. Williams off to Enyart, looking to try to feed it into the big man inside. Smith waits, tries to back up Michael Wellman, gives to Xavier Williams for the top of key 3, and knocks it down.
Great inside-out action there. Lake Central, you're Portage and you're Michael Wellman, perhaps you're going to try to have to fight and get 3 quarters over and not allow that entry pass in there so easily.
Clark with the baseline jumper, good. Eric Clark going off here in this first quarter, keeping Portage in this one tonight as Sabador, he'll go for 3. It's online, just a little bit long. Smith with the rebound, though, gives it back to Sabador, and now they'll run a set play here.
Back-to-back pull-up jumpers for Garrett Clark. He's one of those guys that can get hot right away, but you're going to have to get stops if you're Portage.
Williams for another 3. It's short. Rebound comes down to Clark. Give here to Kobe. Dangerous violation of almost traveling there. Got very close. On the back pedal, Smith will bring up the ball here for Lake Central.
And that's a quick shot attempt there by the freshman, and I'm sure he practices that runner, but nonetheless, you're going to have to try to get a great shot.
Sabador from 3 again.
Because when you come up empty on that possession, you leave yourself vulnerable to Lake Central that's been getting open looks at the 3-point line all night so far.
We talked about in the open, or you asked me kind of what about Lake Central before the game started, and I told you one of the things for Lake Central is obviously their defense, but then from three-point range, they're shooting 36%. That went up, obviously, during the Valpo game because they were just lights out in that first quarter to start and then throughout the game as well.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, shooting, it's one of those where, on any given night you could go off, but Lake Central has been able to sustain some very good shooting numbers over a stretch.
As Evans comes back into this one and gets the floater, Smith can't corral that pass. And, those are some of those things that, as Smith says, all right, don't worry about it. We're going to get this back. Because, again, Gale, probably a few jitters here in this opening quarter here, getting some start time.
Yeah, he's got to realize that he's the point guard and that he's going to have to play with a little bit more poise. But, this is his first quarter that he's ever started, and it comes on the road against an athletic Portage team that's going to pressure him, knowing the scouting report.
Well, we talked about identity at the open here, and we said Lake Central had their identity, so they had meshed pretty well together over the course of the season, and now to throw some different factors in there is a difference maker, as Cooper Kroenke is in there as well for Lake Central. He gets that strip of Clark, feeds it up to Gale. Gale up. Oh, and a charge to draw it up to start, so he'll get a foul call. That'll be his second of the game. He was looking for his first bucket of his career. Instead, the sound of trumpets ring out here at Portage.
Yeah, and that honestly, you chalk that up to that could be just the speed of the game.
Mm-hmm.
He gets that pass in transition. He sees a guy down there, sets up, but, he goes up for the layup anyway when he could have just gave it right back, right? And, and that's one of those things where over the course of time and experience, you kind of develop a better feel.
Evans dumps off to Johnson for the baseline jumper. Smith with the rebound. So Smith waiting to draw something up here. 33 seconds to go in the opening quarter. Not afraid to wait for it. Paniagua has checked into the game for Lake Central as well here in this one. Skip pass over to Sabador.
That's a dangerous pass. Carter Colby, if he's playing on the line, up the line a little bit more, he's able to maybe intercept that.
Kroenke near the timeline, has to find somebody. Finds Smith, who's able to use his frame to keep it. Williams, top of key three again, short. This one tipped out. Paniagua for three again. Can't get it to go as time expires in the opening quarter. Good look, though, good shot. Can't blame him on that one. All right, we have the first quarter in the books. Lake Central on top by 4. You're watching Game Night of the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.
Can't wait for summer, but dreading the heat because your old AC let you down? Don't sweat it out this summer. Call Economy Electric Heating and Cooling. The professionals there can fix you up. Install a central air unit that'll last for years. Your family deserves to stay comfortable. And with a 24/7 emergency service, comfort is just a phone call away. Give them a call at 219-923-4441 or check them out on the web at 4ajobdoneright.com.
Welcome back to Game Night here on the Region Sports Network. Michael Brenner here along with Mike Jamia. Start of the second quarter. Don't forget at the end of this one, we'll name the Crowd Company's Lanterman Superhero of the game. The Crowd Companies recognize the superheroes on the basketball court. Are we going to have one right here as Evans gets the first bucket of the second quarter, and it helps Portage out as they're using a pretty strong press here. And Yurt feeds to Smith. Dishes to Paniagua in the corner here for three. He can't connect. Noah Enyart with the rebound, kicks it back out as Sabador goes for three. It's no good. Sam Wellman was looking to go coast to coast. Kroenke was able to backpick it there. Really nice move.
Yeah, and, credit to Portage. Great game plan thus far. They're going to pressure. They're going to, attack on defense. And, they're just going to have to continue to get offensively. A great set play there.
Speaking of doing a little back pick, there goes Michael Wellman to slam it home with the two hands to get the first bucket, his first bucket of the game. Skip pass to Smith. Trying to fight his way through, gets it in.
Yeah, that's just, you need better help side defense there. You need to, that can't be that easy for Smith.
That's the kind of play style that we see there out of Portage, though. That's Portage basketball. We're gonna back you up. We're gonna bump and grind, and we're gonna fight our way to a basket, and that's what Smith just did for Lake Central.
Mm-hmm.
2-point game, feeding it into Jalen Johnson. Evans was trying to cut to the basket. Johnson tried to make a little bit of a spin move to try to get to the basket and just lost his footing there. A couple of check-ins again. King and Powell back in the game for Portage, excuse me.
Yeah, Powell's been a guy that's been coming on pretty well for Portage. Interested to see how he's going to match up in this one. Right now, as he's, going to probably likely draw Enyart in a lot of situations, unless it's Smith.
So Kroenke will bring it up here. Again, this is something for Sexton. He gets to see kind of some different rotations and some other looks at some of his other guys that he's got on the bench that maybe he hasn't relied on too much up to this point. Enyart looked to his left, but Sabador was behind him to his right. Goes up. They're going to say no basket. There was a travel beforehand. It's a nice move, though.
Yeah, it is. And if you're Portage, you look at that as, and just another opportunity to be able to coach your guys up and explain to them that they need to be in better help side position. Powell is in the lane at that point, and he kind of reaches over to guard with his arm and his hand, but you gotta slide your feet, and you're gonna have to get a body in front, because if they don't blow that whistle, that's 2 points.
Evans for three, knocks it down. He gets his number. And he's got 7 points in this one.
Big shot there by Evans.
Gives Portage the lead now. Williams back in the game for Lake Central as well. Smith backing up, fighting. He gets fouled, so he'll go to the line.
Great job by Lake Central to get that ball into Smith, and then Smith just, outstanding player, especially when he has his back to the basket against, a guy of similar stature. And it seems like every time that Smith gets the ball in that situation, he either scores it or gets himself to the free throw line to shoot two.
Heads up player as a senior. And knocks down the first free throw to tie the game again. We have other awards we'll hand out at the end of this one. We've got the play of the game presented by the Region Sports Network, and then also our blue collar player of the game presented by the Region Sports Network. 5 for 6 from the line for Lake Central so far in this one. That was the first miss. Evans from long range this time. Can't get it to go. Tips it out, but Kroenke is there. Gives out Sabador. Paniagua out to Smith. This one tipped out and into the cheerleaders.
Good deflection there by Jay-Sean King. Yeah, if you're Portage, those long shot attempts, you're going to have to be able to box out, as those go for long misses sometimes.
So those breathers are kind of working wonders as Wellman comes back. Sam Wellman comes back in. Sabador too long on that one. Rebound comes down to Clark. Clark gets across the timeline, stops at the free throw line, and there's going to be a push against Lake Central.
Yeah, and that's and that's a credit to Clark there for just the strong jump stop.
So just under 5 to play here in this opening half, all knotted up at 20. Sam Wellman with a jumper as he steps back. His first points of the game.
Great fall-away jumper, Sam Wellman. He even took the time to read the defense and see that, he had an opportunity there just to go to the well.
Sabador gives it into Smith. Smith out to Sabador. Gets it to connect that time.
Miscommunication by Portage. Excellent job by Smith to be able to turn and face the basket area. And again, read the defense. Find the open man.
Johnson trying to come underneath to get that one. Can't get it to go that time. It's stolen away this time. I gave a lot of credit to got a foul here against Lake Central. I gave a lot of credit to Ben Liskey on the broadcast not that long ago about just giving us some feedback here, or giving us some insight on some of the players, some little notes and stuff like that. And had a conversation with Coach Sexton, and he's like, "Well, hey, I got this for you," and he gave us sent us a nice media guide. So appreciate Coach Sexton for sending that out.
Yeah, and those coaches are, just tremendous class between them, and they know what it's all about in terms of growing the game, and they know the importance of media coverage and being able to get the word out on their guys as well as their opponents, and just being able to contribute to this great game in more ways than just coaching, and those are true stewards of the sport.
Well, and I think they also realize that, and most people I think understand this from our perspective, and we're not making this about us, it's about the players on the field. The more we know about them and the more information we can have on them, the more we can share those types of stories, because that's what in sports anymore, when you're actually watching the coverage, yes, there's a game going on and they'll tell you the stats and stuff, but it's the stories in the background about how those players got to those spots. And being able to give the stories of these kids and giving them a little bit more of a heads up and telling them about who they are as individuals instead of just what they're doing here on the floor is so much more that we can provide you on any of these broadcast affiliates. Because you and I, we're both teachers. We both know that these kids are dealing with a lot more than just what's out here on the floor as well. Sabador feeds to the cutting Smith. Now over to Williams. Good ball movement here. Kroenke trying to knock one down. Can't get it to go. Ball goes out of bounds, and they're going to say Portage basketball. The ball seems to be just a lot of bouncing around. It's deflecting off a lot of different people. It's like a pinball right now.
Yeah, but Lake Central is doing exactly what you need to do when they are, and faced in front of that press, right? They pick up their dribble. They got two guys in front of them, and it's a quick get the ball out, pass the ball. The ball moves faster than anybody else on the court, and a tremendous job by them to get an open look out of that.
Trying to feed it into Johnson here on the right block up against Smith. That's the one thing we're not seeing a whole lot tonight is those and one situations. So those fouls are just aggressive enough to keep that ball out of the basket.
Yeah, Lake Central has been shooting well from the free throw line in this one. Portage hoping to do the same.
Sabador call with the foul. Johnson knocks down the first free throw. One of two for that trip. Only two missed free throws on the night for Portage. 4 for 6. Sabador to Williams. Kroenke out to the right here. Now feeding into Enyart right underneath and lays it in.
Yeah, Portage, it's one thing to sprint out of a trap, right? So you trap and then the pass gets thrown from one side of the court to the other and you sprint out of it. Great drive by Clark.
Wow. That might be one of those candidates for a play of the game.
Yeah, but it's sprinting out of your traps, but then also being in great position, though, on that back end of that zone.
And you're fighting for that rebound. It's tipped up in the air. And now we'll have a foul against Lake Central.
Yeah, because you can't be missing rotations when you're trapping, especially in the first half against Sexton and his Lake Central Indians, because he's going to be talking to his guys at halftime on how to break it even more efficiently than they've done so far.
Kroenke has called for his third foul of the game, so he will check out. 4 fouls this quarter for Lake Central, the last minute 45 here. Evans for two on the baseline jumper. He's got himself quite a game today.
Portage
got 10.
Portage's got scores. These guys pull up jumpers.
Sabador trying for that three, can't get it to go. Trying for the rebound, Lake Central, no good. Here comes Portage, though, in transition. They're up by 3 with control of this game. Evans feeds down to Michael Wellman on the left block, turns with the right hand, and gets it to go.
Excellent job, Amari Evans. He's playing with confidence. Excellent job making that pass down to Wellman on the block, and he finishes it strong. And with 64 seconds to go, Portage finds himself leading by 5.
Paniagua missing that one, picked up by Evans here with under a minute to play. Evans drives, right-hand floater, no good. Smith fighting for that rebound. It's in the air. Michael Wellman tries to put it back, no good. Smith comes down with the rebound again. Pass into Noah Enyart here, now out to the left side. Williams can't corral it, though.
And Lake Central, they've gotten sped up these last few trips down the floor. Enyart looking to his left, but didn't look to his right. He had a much easier pass to his right side. You know, his teammates were filling their lanes properly in transition, but just an errant pass. And that gives Portage another bite at the apple here to try to go up 7 or more.
This is definitely an open door opportunity here for Portage, and I do have to give a little bit of kudos to the senior leadership on Lake Central, though, because both Smith and Xavier Williams both looked at Enyart and said, hey, slow down. It's okay. Mistakes happen. This one tipped back. Doesn't know if he should touch it. Yep, it is a backcourt violation.
Yeah, and Coach Klaus, he's going to argue about that one, but at the end of the day, you'd rather take, you know, the dead ball turnover than the live ball turnover there. So just set it up on defense here. You got 21 ticks left. If you're Portage, you're looking for a stop. If you're Lake Central, you're looking to stop the bleeding.
Smith tells Williams to go to the backcourt, so he does. He'll meet that little double defense, gives to Smith. Right back to Williams. Sabador in the corner. Meets the double. Paniagua. You know, he's been shooting from three-point land, but he hasn't been able to make one yet. He might be feeling a little bit off kilter. It hasn't stopped Sabador as we go to the halftime with Portage up by 5. So we'll go to the half. You're watching Game Night here on the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.
Earn while you learn from the best hands in the business. The Bricklayers Allied Craft Workers for Indiana, Kentucky Apprenticeship. That's right, this is a paid apprenticeship.
I'm getting an education while learning a trade and getting paid for it.
The thing that surprised me the most about this apprenticeship program is the respect I have received after the proper time and training.
Classes start soon, so apply now. There are training centers throughout Indiana and Kentucky. We are the Bricklayers and Allied Craft Workers for Indiana, Kentucky Apprenticeship. The best hands in the business.
This box is small, like Pet Supplies Plus. This one is large, like a big box store. In each, Stu, hi Stu, has carefully hidden a toy. Question is, which dog will find it first? Ta-da! Moose, no! You were so close.
Four Seasons Mechanical proudly serves Northwest Indiana, providing quality, reasonably priced, reliable service. With a quality and comfort guarantee, the professionals at Four Seasons Mechanical offer a wide range of services in heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. Whether it's residential or commercial, Four Seasons Mechanical is there 24/7. To find out more, the website is fourseasonsmechanical.com or give them a call at 219-756-7020. Four Seasons Mechanical, your indoor air quality specialists.
Welcome back to Game Night here on the Region Sports Network. Mike Brenner here along with Mike Jamia. Justin Cole doing the production here tonight. Zach Miller doing some background stuff, getting some footage for us. And then Mike Dewan also working our camera tonight. So we got 3 mics on the broadcast. Justin, sorry, you're the odd name out. Sorry. Zach Miller jumping in here. He's the other name out. So, but at least he's got an M last name, so that kind of works, I guess, to an extent. All right, halftime here at Portage High School. Portage on top, 30-25 over the Lake Central Indians. And for some people who are tuning in, they might consider this a surprise. We know that Lake Central without 3 starters tonight, not really a surprise in general. We kind of figured it would be a close game at this point right now, and we were kind of looking at how that first half went. If you're Lake Central, getting a lot of chances at threes, they're not all falling, and that's kind of where you have that 3-point deficit, right, or that 5-point deficit right about now. Yeah,
if you're Lake Central, you don't feel too bad about what it is here at half. You know, water will always find its level, right? They have been shooting very poor from beyond the arc, but that's, subject to change, right? Just the statistics of it and the numbers of it. If you're Portage, you are pleased with the fact that you have the lead at half and that, you finished that second quarter strongly. And so, you're hoping to build off of that momentum. But, both coaches are just going to go in and they're going to preach about execution. Portage has, had their moments where they've executed well, and they've had their moments where they've, missed some rotations on defense. Lake Central, they've had their moments where they've executed really well, especially when it comes to ball reversals against this pressure. But there's been some errant passes, and, perhaps they need to kind of slow things down a little bit considering the fact that they're out 3 starters. So there's a lot of good talking points, a lot of things for coaches to, point out in the locker room, but it's all going to come down to which team comes out in the second half and executes better.
All right, we're going to talk about some of those keys, again, to what Lake Central necessarily needs to do. We're going to talk about a little bit more about what Portage needs to do. I'm going to ask you if they should keep that press on the rest of the game and how that's going to factor into this one. What does Lake Central do to counter that? We'll talk about that on the other side of the break. You're watching Game Night of the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.
When life keeps you busy and you can't get to the store, shop online with Strack & Van Til To Go. Our to-go service is easy to use. Register using your rewards account information, fill your virtual cart, and choose delivery or pickup. Once your order is in, our own Strack & Van Til team preps your order with care. With our to-go service, you can earn reward points and save time and money with our online coupons and weekly ad prices. Life made simple, shopping made easy. For more information or to sign up, visit shop.strackandvantil.com.
Hi, I'm Crowell Company's Lantern Man. I'll cover your motorcycle. I'll be with you on the water. I'll be with you on the snow. I'll cover your insurance needs wherever you go. I'll be at Crowell Agency from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. As Crowell Company's Lantern Man, I'm your insurance superhero.
Crowell Companies, the insurance professionals in Highland, Maryville, and Michigan City. Blythe's Team Sports in Valparaiso is a leader in athletics apparel and equipment sales. With in-house production including screen printing, trophies, embroidery, and more, Blythe's can help you to create the perfect look. For more information, visit them online at teamblythes.com. Blythe's Team Sports in Valparaiso, where the athletes shop.
Hi, this is Tim down at Tire Pros and Auto Superstore, 5200 Cleveland in Maryville. 219-887-3333 is our phone number. We've been serving the region and building relationships with our valued customers for the past 23 years. We have a wide variety of services, quality tires with the best warranty in the nation, and some of the most skilled mechanics I've ever worked with. Let us exceed your expectations. We're setting a new standard. Come on down, ask for Mike or Tim. We'll take excellent care of you. Thank you.
Welcome back to Game Night here on the Region Sports Network. We're at the halftime where Portage is up 30-25 over Lake Central. Portage looking for a Duneland win here tonight if they can grab one, and they would do it against the team that's also in jeopardy of having their first loss of the season. Lake Central 13-0 on the year, 2-0 in conference play. Portage would like to pick up a conference win, the first of the season for them, and they're in a position to do it right now. And Mike, before we went to the break, I said, okay, if you're Portage, this press is clearly working. It's kind of giving Lake Central a little bit of a hard time. Do you keep that on? We were kind of talking at the half about it, because if I'm Coach Sexton, I also know, like, hey, this is probably what they're going to continue to do. I'm going to draw this up. Does Coach Klaus come out with gamemanship, and pull that off? How is this going to work?
Ultimately, no matter what defense you play, you're going to have to play good man defense principles, right?
Correct.
Nonetheless. So that's one thing where if you're able to do that at a high level, you should still be able to continue to give these inexperienced guys on Lake Central, with their spot starts tonight, some fits. However, from a coaching standpoint, you do want to continue to apply pressure. You do not want to take your foot off the gas, so to speak. This Lake Central team, as you expect, is going to shoot the ball a little bit better this half. So you're going to have to be able to execute, sprinting out of those traps, closing out on shooters, good rotations, all of those things. But if you're Portage, you probably should have some other defenses up your sleeve. And perhaps it's just different looks where you're trapping only, free throw line extended and below. Maybe you're just trapping the corners. You're going to have to give these guys different looks while still applying pressure. You can't, obviously, to your point, Michael, just stay in the same, defense the rest of the way, knowing that, Coach Sexton is going to make those necessary adjustments in the locker room.
So we got about a little over a minute until the start of the second half. We want to remind you that we've got awards we're going to hand out. We've got the Crowell Companies Lantern Man Superhero of the Game. The Crowell Companies are proud to recognize the superheroes on the basketball court, and they have offices open 9 to 7 Monday through Friday and Saturdays until 2 in Highland, Maryville, and Michigan City. And then we've got the play of the game presented by the Region Sports Network, along with our blue-collar player of the game, also presented by the Region Sports Network. I don't care what anybody says. My blue-collar player of every game is always Zach Miller. He's the man, the myth, the legend. He's not even listening to me right now. He's too focused on production right now. Trying to get Zach's attention here. You're always my player of the game, Zach. You're always my player of the game. Or my blue-collar player of the game. There we go. He acknowledges it, rolls his eyes, and carries on.
Man's about business. He stands on business.
He is the true workman. And if you, we've been kind of watching who's kind of filtering into this crowd. We've noticed quite a few head coaches from around the region also in this one to scout these two teams. Sectional's not too far away.
Yeah, I believe Clint Swan may have been the first one in the building amongst those coaches, followed by Mark Urban, and let's see.
Now, they just did battle on Saturday afternoon, so they were not sitting next to each other, from our understanding.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The one thing, whether, region basketball is winning state titles or whatever, we have, in my opinion, we have some of the best coaches in the region around, always willing to chat with us when we have questions and letting us know a little bit more about their players. As Michael Wellman goes right up to the basket to start things up. Smith gets the rebound, and he gets fouled from behind. So not the way Portage wants to draw it up. They miss a basket and get a foul to start the second half.
Yeah, and great job by Jake Smith to get the rebound. If Lake Central's going to pull away in this one, Jake Smith, Xavier Williams, they're going to have to elevate their play and elevate the play of others around them due to tonight's circumstances.
And you're getting back on defense as Michael Wellman with the two-handed jam.
Defense leading the offense. Great pass in transition. And an even better finish at the rim.
Gale gives out to Enyart, who goes up, had his shot altered a little bit here. Here's Wellman again, but Smith in there to block him.
I love that Portage is looking to get out and run after these stops. They were speeding Lake Central up at the end of the first half, led to success, trying to pick up right where they left off.
Give back to Wellman, now out to Clark. Pulls up from three. Front iron, here's Smith. He's got to be close to double digits in terms of rebounds tonight. That's 9 points on the night, so got to be close to a double-double. Gale off to Williams. Williams gives out to Sabador, who goes for a long-range three. He can't connect on that one. When asked a little bit about Noah Sabador, Coach Sexton says definitely one of the best three-point shooters he has seen and feels as he's one of the best in Northwest Indiana. Johnson, short. Smith tries to save.
Great hustle play by Smith.
He has the ability to dominate on both ends of the floor. We'll have a foul here against Jalen Johnson. So a couple of fouls early on here for Portage.
And Portage crowding Enyart there in the corner. You know, we got a whistle before the pass, but that's one of those things where if you're Portage, that's continuing to apply pressure on the sidelines and those corners where they're vulnerable.
Gale pulls up for three. It's long. Clark with the rebound. So the three-point basket was what was working for Lake Central the other night as Evans on the sprint goes all the way and scores.
What a dime by Sam Wellman. Bounce pass, leads his teammates. You couldn't have pictured it any better than that.
So we'll have a timeout taken by Lake Central, and we'll step aside with that one. You're watching Game Night here on the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.
Some see a student athlete working on a shot. We see a powerful lesson in persistence. Some see a student preparing for success on an exam. We see a student athlete preparing for success in life. Proud to keep education in front of athletics since 1903.
Welcome back to Game Night here on the Region Sports Network. Make sure you stay tuned. Tomorrow night we'll have coverage of the championship games of the PCC tournament. Always a fun week-long adventure for the schools in the PCC. Weather has been kind of a pain for that tournament, though. Had to delay some of those games because of frigid temperatures, and today you had nasty weather as well. Spencer Gale gets the double coverage here. Johnson pokes that away, but Gale able to keep, gives to Williams. To Noah Enyart underneath with a little bit of a reversal in the first bucket of the second half for Lake Central.
Great pass by Xavier Williams. One of those guys for Lake Central that's going to have to step up and does so with an excellent assist there.
7-point game with 5:20 to go here in the third. Michael Wellman goes for three. He's had the hot hand, and it continues. In this second half, he's got a dunk and now a tray. It makes it a 10-point game.
Yeah, he realizes that his man on that screen, just got bodied and sucked up like a vacuum and found himself wide open at the top of the key for a wide open three, and he buries it.
So he's got 9 points on the night. Gale will get it in the backcourt. 5 minutes to go here in this third quarter. Trying to call out the play. Guys trying to get into position. Sabador. Smith trying to answer, front iron.
Great job by Portage boxing out there. Every guy was boxed out. They came away with the ball and an opportunity in transition.
Smith gives up to Williams. Williams going to drive his way to the basket, loses it, but gets fouled on the way there. So I believe they say it's going to be in the act of shooting. Nope, they're going to say on the floor. So the foul, which is the third of the quarter for Portage. They did not update it on the board yet. Nope, it's going to be on Michael Wellman, which is his third. So that is a big foul here in this third quarter. Keep an eye on that one as Smith gives up to Williams. Gale. It's the feeder on the perimeter. Williams saw an opportunity. He takes it and goes all the way to the rim.
Great drive and score by Williams.
Sometimes that feel for the game is such a pivotal part. It's Michael Wellman again from the top. That one hits front iron and falls in. When you've got it, you've got it.
Little shooter's touch from Wellman.
Little home court roll. Smith trying to fight it on the floor. Portage comes up with it. Give to Jalen Johnson. Fights through the defense. He'll go to the line. Have we had a single and one tonight?
No, but if that ball would have went through the basket there, this place would have erupted. As Portage, they're getting all of these big momentum plays here in the third quarter, and they're really putting it on their opponent. And Lake Central, they're going to have to find a way to get Williams more. I mean, Williams had the score of the last possession there, but find him to get more involved, get Jake Smith more involved. But Portage doing an outstanding job of neutralizing those threats by applying so much pressure in the backcourt and putting that stress on Spencer Gale.
Do you feel like because they haven't been shooting as well from the three-point line, there's a little bit of hesitancy to shoot the threes?
Perhaps there shouldn't be, but perhaps so. I mean, what they're doing, I mean, that's just an unforced error.
Trying to give the pass inside to Williams. It's picked off by Portage, and now back here on their side is Sam Wellman. Gives up to Evans. Evans with a drive. Loses it, rebounds it, and puts it in.
And that's just a varsity guard coming downhill. And, you are drawing a tough assignment if you're making a spot start in this one tonight.
Sabador hits the three. I asked if they were hesitant to throw it up. Sabador is still not. He hasn't been hitting them as consistently as he normally probably would, but he's still throwing them up there from three-point land. He shoots about 29%.
Yeah, you're going to have to let it fly if you're Lake Central, especially if you get an open look. But on the flip side, you've given up 2 open looks to Michael Wellman at the top of the key in a row. I mean, we're talking like, very late closeout. He's getting a full look at it, following through with his shot. And then at that point, you see a hand get in his face. And that's just going to be, that's not going to phase a guy of Michael Wellman or Sam Wellman or any of these starters for Portage for that matter, as Portage has more depth, especially tonight where Lake Central is down 3 starters. And the thing with Portage's depth is that they have scoring in depth.
Yeah. That's an excellent point here as Clark brings it up to Michael Wellman, gives it off to Sam. Now Evans here in the corner, drives through, has to stop inside the lane, didn't like what he saw. Smith was there on the help defense to take the charge if necessary. Down to 2:35 left to go here in this third quarter. Michael Wellman with the back cut and the reversal. Michael Wellman making a case for that Crowell Company's Lantern Man superhero of the game. Sabador feeding it to Enyard on the baseline. Kicks it out to Gale. Drive. Williams for 3. He connects.
Big basket there by Williams, but also can't trade punches with Portage. Not with the deficit you have.
As if you're Lake Central, this one will be a backcourt violation, so a turnover as we'll see some check-ins here for Portage. So Lake Central got the stop. Now they need to get the score to try to bring this within single digits if possible.
Yeah, you want to.
Williams is ready for that basketball.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, and he's been dialed in this third period.
Gale trying to feed this one to, I'm assuming, to Sabador over there. This one was kicked out of bounds, so Smith says, don't worry. Xavier, I got this one.
Yeah, the legendary Jim Wheeler in the red polo there. He gets a touch on it.
Skip pass over to Enyard. Now to Williams again for 3. That one rattles around, can't fall.
I credit Jim Wheeler with the missed 3 on that one. Jim Wheeler, a legend in the Portage community. He touches the ball, and as soon as it gets back to Williams' hand, Williams misses a wide open 3. So Jim Wheeler doing everything he can, Portage faithful.
Always shout-outs.
You got a lot of celebs tonight. It's like a Laker game. You got Angelo sitting courtside. He's in the green polo at midcourt.
And we have to, we'll confess a little bit here, talking about celebrities. I mean, you're here. You're a Portage grad.
Yeah, I'm not as much of a celebrity as those 2 gentlemen.
But you're a Portage guy, so.
Yeah.
Another turnover here, so another stop for Lake Central. Again, another opportunity to try to bring this within single digits here. Gale kicks off to Sabador. He goes for 3. It rattles around. It doesn't fall. Here comes King on the right side. Up. And he gets fouled, but he'll go to the line to shoot 2.
There's got to be a lid on that basket for Sabador. That one went in and out.
Yes, it did.
Some big free throws here for Portage.
And I'm looking over at Coach Sexton right now saying, hey, keep shooting. You're a shooter. Shoot or shoot. King from the free throw line. This one pinballs around and falls home. His first point of the game. Makes it a 12-point game with exactly 60 seconds to go here in this third quarter. King 2 for 2 from the line on that trip. I'll tell you what, when this gym gets quiet, man. I mean, it's
Portage fans are smart. They are. They are a very smart fan base. They make absolutely no noise when their team is at the charity stripe. That is for certain.
Feeding into Smith near that right box. Tries to kick it out. This one tipped out of bounds. It'll stay here with Lake Central. It was either King or Williams, and the official determines it was off of King. Smith, though, with that presence, he got triple teamed and had to dish that one out. Now Williams gives off to Gale. Smith hasn't been able to really be that dominant presence inside tonight. Things have had to come from the perimeter, and we'll have a travel before the turnover. So it is still a turnover, just different variety.
Yeah, and no, credit to Portage and their execution in terms of neutralizing Smith through 3 quarters.
Johnson gives to King, and Portage can hold out here for the final shot of the quarter if they so choose. They've seen stalling before. And this one is a turnover off of Clark. Just kind of hit him in the midsection, couldn't corral it. So now with 5.2, Lake Central again has a chance to bring this to a 10-point game. But you want to end the quarter with a bucket to feel a little bit good going into that fourth quarter for sure. But there are 5 seconds remaining. The give to Enyart, now to Williams. Williams has to shoot. It's going to be short. Couldn't get enough on that one. If you were to write that one back up again, that's one you would want Enyart to probably shoot at the end of the quarter. But the sophomore dishes it out to the senior. So we go to the fourth quarter. You're watching Game Night of the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.
Some see a student athlete working hard in the weight room. We see a future leader learning there are no shortcuts to success. Some see a start to a swim meet. We see the starting blocks for life. Proud to keep education in front of athletics since 1903.
Welcome back to Game Night here on the Region Sports Network. Start of the fourth quarter here at Portage High School. Only one score in double figures for Lake Central tonight. That's Xavier Williams. Jake Smith has got 9, but he wasn't able to score in that third quarter. Meanwhile, you go over to the Portage side, and they are sharing the sugar, that's for sure. 18 points in that third quarter. Gives them a 13-point lead here as we enter the fourth.
And it's been Portage's defense tonight. It's, this 1-3-1 trap. They have given, this inexperienced, group of Lake Central due to their 3 starters out.
Sabador for 3, hits the front of the iron.
And a good closeout by Garrett Clark, too. So, defensively, Portage doing what they need to do in this one.
Feeding down to Clark there on the baseline. King. Gale trying to tip that one out against Sam Wellman. Meets against him. Here's Jalen Johnson. Now Sam Wellman. Again, Portage is in a position they don't have to, they shouldn't take their foot off the gas as that one poked away, but not in a position where they have to quickly score. They can take their time.
No, they can just play with ease and with confidence and poise.
Williams tries to draw the contact to get the call. Throws one up. He doesn't get it. Here comes Michael Wellman. Around the screen, gives up to Clark. Clark pulls up for three. It's offline. Johnson there to collect it and put it back home.
Depth is very evident in this one. Lake Central, they just, don't have a lot of depth. They're out 3 starters that, handicaps them even more.
Enyard connects from long range.
And what they also lack in depth, they lack in size, too. And Jalen Johnson able to clean up that miss, but Enyard with a 3. And, but Lake Central is going to have to find some creative ways to get stops here.
Clark gives up to Wellman here. We've got a timeout, I believe, taken by Coach Klaus. Yeah, back in that Portage game again, or back in that Hammond Central game for Portage, I should say, the guy that was doing it all was kind of Jalen Johnson in the paint. As I believe we have a full timeout, so we will step aside. You're watching Game Night of the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.
When life keeps you busy and you can't get to the store, shop online with Strachan Van Til To Go. Our to-go service is easy to use. Register using your rewards account information, fill your virtual cart, and choose delivery or pickup. Once your order is in, our own Strachan Van Til team preps your order with care. With our to-go service, you can earn reward points and save time and money with our online coupons and weekly ad prices. Life made simple, shopping made easy. For more information or to sign up, visit shop.strachanvantil.com.
Welcome back to Game Night on the Region Sports Network. Before we went to break, I started to mention how tonight really the show has been amongst a lot of different characters. One of those guys is Jalen Johnson. Not as big of a threat inside the paint as maybe he normally is. He had 20 points in that game against Hammond Central, so he was kind of that guy. But tonight they're really sharing it. Evans has been able to get in there and make some layups. Michael Wellman has had a good second half, and then Garrett Clark was lights out in that first half. Hasn't really been a contributor in terms of scoring in the second half, but it's kind of a whole team effort here for Portage tonight.
Yeah, it really has been, and that's
on both ends.
Absolutely, yeah. No, they've passed the ball well. They've been able to get out in transition, and that's been huge for them. But in order to get out in transition, you got to get stops, and their defense has been stellar tonight.
Ball loose. Williams goes with the Euro step. He'll go to the line. And again, we do not have a and one on the evening. The foul will go to, I believe, Garrett Clark. That'll be his first of the night. So Lake Central now with giving up 50 points here tonight. That's only the third time, all season that they've given up at least 50 points. And an opportunity to bring the score down a little bit. Xavier Williams misses on the front end of these shots. Connects on the second, though. So 50-39. Lake Central kind of getting these turnovers here lately, but haven't been able to totally capitalize, whereas when Portage gets their turnovers, and they've had a good time of pressing Lake Central.
Yeah, and that's a credit to Coach Klaus. I mean, he watched the film. Ben Liskey went to that 1-3-1 trap late against Lake Central, and Valparaiso, was able to, pull off almost a miraculous, just spectacular comeback. But nonetheless, they found themselves right back into that game. And Coach Klaus, understood that, and it is now something that has kind of been exposed. And so it's going to be on the onus of Coach Sexton and his players to, combat that moving forward and to learn and get better at how to handle it.
We'll have a foul there a little late on the defense for Kroenke, who's in there with 3 fouls. So that'll actually be his 4th foul of the game.
Yeah, and when you're undefeated, the target on your back just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And like you mentioned earlier in the broadcast, we're in January now, kind of already getting late January. I mean, it's the 23rd. And so, teams are going to figure you out, so to speak. And it's going to be a matter of you, I don't want to say you have to reinvent yourself, but you're going to have to, revisit the drawing board. And you're going to have to, improve at your execution.
Foul on Xavier Williams there. I'm not sure if it was on the reach in. He did have a handful of jersey. I did see that. It might have been on that, but just kind of a late call on him there. But another chance for Portage here with 5:18 to go. Trying to close this one out as Clark gets around the defense. Able to control here. Gives up to Sam Wellman. Klaus is calling for a timeout. And it'll be a 30-second timeout, so we'll keep it right here on the Region Sports Network. Don't forget, Mike Jamia is working hard and thinking about those award winners. We've got the Crowell Company's Lantern Man Superhero of the Game to hand out. And proud to recognize the superheroes on the basketball court. And we've got a Play of the Game presented by the Region Sports Network and a Blue Collar Player of the Game presented by the Region Sports Network as well.
Yeah, we just saw Coach Klaus talking in the huddle. You know, now we see Coach Sexton in his respective huddle. And with 5 minutes left, you know, with the deficit being what it is, if you're Portage, you're just going to have to take care of the basketball, be strong with it. You know, read the defense, pass the ball properly. And if you're Lake Central, you're going to have to try to get Portage fits here, and you're going to need to get stops. And, you know, you're looking at Xavier Williams to, you know, continue to do everything he can do, but hoping to maybe get Jake Smith involved here too.
Yeah, he's been non-existent in this second half in terms of the scoring column here. He's been working on trying to set screens and trying to get fed into the middle or into the low post, but hasn't been able to do that as they give to Johnson there in the corner, and you're fighting his way through. Sabador with the pickoff. Up the floor. Across the timeline, goes to the right. Gale with it. Jake Smith calling the plays out. Senior leadership here for Lake Central. Gonna ride the right side. Sabador from long range. Rattles in this time.
Big basket there. Cuts it to 10. You need 3 stops and 3 scores if you're Lake Central to fight back into this one.
Evans tries to kick that one out. Williams now off to Wellman, and he can't get it. Smith with the fight in the rebound underneath, so there's your stop. Lake Central needs to get a score here if they're going to come bring this one in single digits. Portage keeping the pressure on, going with the triple almost, and now here's Enyer for 3. It's off mark, a little too strong.
Great action there to get Smith open. Smith passes out of what you were saying was a triple team. I mean, they brought all 3 guys, collapsed in on him.
It almost looked like a quadruple team at one point.
Yeah, if he would have held on to the ball a little bit longer, it could have been.
Sam gives up to Michael, who can't feed on the alley-oop. .331 to go in this one.
Again, going to the well, Smith.
Smith cleans it up, gets hit from behind, but no whistle. Trying to get this turnover here. Still pressure on Evans here. And they call backcourt, and that's questionable. I don't know if he established all 3 over, Mike.
No, I don't think he did. I will say too, I don't think he fouled him. I think that was a clean block too. So no way, shape, or form is that a makeup call by any chance. It's just kind of a missed call. But I mean, when we did the game here, East Chicago against Portage, Doug Nelson and I, you know, there was another instance where it was, you know, one of those calls at half court with the dark, you know, logo at center court.
Smith short on that one. Rebound comes down to Portage. Lake Central has had their opportunities. Can't totally capitalize. Still 2:52 left here. Clark, as Coach Klaus will take a timeout. It'll be a 30-second timeout, so we'll keep it right here on the Region Sports Network. Glad you guys are tuned in here. Always a great atmosphere here at Portage High School.
Yeah, Portage fan base knows, you know, they know what a big game is, and, you know, they've come out in full support for their Indians taking on the Lake Central Indians, or, you know, the Dream Catchers, as myself, a Portage grad, likes to call them, you know, since they've transitioned to that logo, you know. But so, you know, I mean, look at the Portage student section's going nuts. You know, these people, they've wanted a winner for a very long time, and this is a big win if they can hold on for the next 2 minutes and 49 seconds.
Well, they got the Beebs playing in the background, so that should fire anybody up, right?
Yeah, I'm not a huge Beebs guy. I mean,
Justin Cole's over here. He's dancing around with it. I know that.
Yeah, no, he's
repping his Indiana State Sycamores as well.
Yeah, he's a believer.
2:49 to go here. 10-point game. Portage trying to hang on here. We talked at the very beginning about can they get over that hump, and they're in position to do that. The clock continues to tick down here. Trying to put the pressure on King. We'll see a lot of passing here just to try to keep the ball moving. Don't need to score necessarily. You've got the 10-point lead.
Yep, you just need to avoid the trap. Just take care of the basketball. Be strong with it.
No turnovers if you're Portage. And we'll see the foul there. But it's a foul to give, not in the act of shooting. So Williams picks up his third. But for Lake Central, you want to stop the clock here to try to have opportunities to get back in this one. Evans knows he's got 10 seconds, so he will take some time in that backcourt. Williams comes for the double. There's King now. Evans just gets across the half-court line. Wellman.
Yeah, Wellman thought that he may have had, Sam thought he may have had Michael down there on the opposite block, but good job holding back, not throwing that basketball. You just want to value the rock, squeeze the orange, be patient, and find yourself at the free throw line, hopefully, in the next couple fouls.
Enyart picks up his second foul. It's the team's fourth of the quarter, under 2 minutes to play. Again, Evans in the backcourt. Feeds down to Michael Wellman, who was left all alone, and gets the bucket. Smith kicks it out. Gale. Sabador. Now Williams thought about three, drives, goes up, had it knocked out of his hands, but he'll go to the line.
Oddly enough, with Lake Central, I don't want to jinx them here, but I guess me saying I don't want to jinx them jinxes them, right? Isn't that kind of usually how it works? But they've shot well at the free throw line tonight. A stark difference than when they played Valparaiso. That could be a result of the fact that there's three starters that are out tonight.
Yes.
Those three, I think they all shoot 50% or worse from the free throw line. So
yeah.
So it's one of those things where you improve in one category, right? I guess addition by subtraction to a certain extent, but not saying by any stretch of the imagination that you are happy or pleased in any way by them not playing in tonight's contest. As depth has reared its ugly head, or lack thereof, for the Lake Central Indians in this one.
Williams 2 for 2 on that stretch, though. So you have a valid point, because everybody's going to be talented in different areas. Yeah, you're missing maybe some leadership or some ball movement in one area, but then where they're deficient, other people can pick back up, as this brings it back to a 10-point game here. And these are situations that every team has to deal with, and not having some of their key players in. When we were here against Hammond, Portage had to fight through not having Garrett Clark, as he was out of that game as well. So trying to pick up and find those instances, but this is also going to show Coach Sexton what you have in terms of your depth and how to build and play in these types of games. We always talk about, especially when COVID was going on, you didn't know which JV players might get called up at certain points, and because we just never know who is going to be out with quarantine and stuff like that. So guys that were getting opportunities against the varsity players, and now they're getting those minutes and those experiences, and now those opportunities or those jitters that they might have get kind of thrown out the window now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's the thing, is that this is all a learning process, right? Coaches and fans don't like to hear it sometimes, where it's half the teams in Indiana lose and half the teams in Indiana win every night, right? And you want to be on the right side of that. But this is all just learning, forming your identity, becoming a better basketball team each day. You just want to be better every day, and you want to play your best basketball come March.
Talk about Lake Central doing well from the line tonight. 10 of 12 from the line for Portage tonight after those two makes from Evans. Sabador for three, knocks it down.
Tough shot by Sabador.
Makes it a 9-point game. Sam Wellman across the floor. Tries to feed it to Michael, is able to corral it. Ball on the ground, gets the double, gives out to Sam in the corner, though.
Credit to the hustle, and Xavier Williams hitting the deck for that one, trying to poke that ball free from Wellman on the block. Tremendous effort.
Senior leadership there from Xavier Williams. Sabador gets called for the foul, so now with 5 fouls here in the quarter, it's an automatic 2 shots here for Portage the rest of the way as we're under a minute. And you were talking about that jinx earlier. Now I just did it to Portage here. My bad. Knocks down the second one, though. Evans has had a really good game. 17 points on the night for Omari Evans. Williams, left block. Puts it up with the right hand, can't get it to fall. King with the rebound, and now a lot of times you'll see that call or that kind of play as a jump ball that's going to be called a foul, because there's 2 guys going for it at that particular moment.
Yeah, and then also too, just like the positioning of it, right? You know, if you're face to face with the guy and it's chest to chest, that's more likely to be called a jump. But if you're kind of behind, they usually whistle for the foul. But tough rebound there. Knocking down the free throws as well. But Omari Evans, you mentioned in this one, he's been great. I mean, Jay-Sean King, he's been good too. I mean, this whole Portage backcourt has feasted tonight.
King 1 of 2 from the line, but Portage with the hustle to get the ball back. And now Gale commits the foul to stop the clock with 29.9, and it will send Sam Wellman to the line, who's got a bucket tonight. That's about it for him as Gale picks up his 3rd foul. That's a nice thing when we talk about depth. Sam Wellman and Michael Wellman are kind of the guys that get leaned on very heavily for Portage, but other guys have been the difference makers in this one tonight.
And that's the thing with Portage is that, we mentioned it earlier in the broadcast. I know I had mentioned the fact that Portage has depth in scoring, and they just have several guys that are capable of going off any night. And, when you couple that with a great game plan and it's executed well, they're a hard team to beat.
So Portage on a Tuesday night will hand Lake Central their first loss of the season, and Portage will pick up a DAC victory as their fans rise to their feet in appreciation, and the student section will make their way out onto the floor. There's your attempt at a court storming, but administration tells them to get back off as the handshake line will continue. They deserve to storm the court.
Yeah, Jake Wyrick, when he gets out there to the free throw line, everybody stops and turns right around. They don't want to come across big Jake Wyrick, that's for sure.
Well, there's not too many undefeated teams left in Indiana basketball, and one gets knocked off here today as Portage gets the win. We're going to step aside. We're going to crunch the numbers. We'll bring you the totals and our award winners on the other side. You're watching Game Night on the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.
Hi, I'm Crowell Company's Lantern Man. I'll cover your motorcycle. I'll be with you on the water. I'll be with you on the snow. I'll cover your insurance needs wherever you go. I'll be at Crowell Agency from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. As Crowell Company's Lantern Man, I'm your insurance superhero.
Crowell Companies, the insurance professionals in Highland, Maryville, and Michigan City.
Can't wait for summer, but dreading the heat because your old AC let you down? Don't sweat it out this summer. Call Economy Electric Heating and Cooling. The professionals there can fix you up. Install a central air unit that'll last for years. Your family deserves to stay comfortable. And with a 24/7 emergency service, comfort is just a phone call away. Give them a call at 219-923-4441 or check them out on the web at the number 4 ajobdoneright.com.
Earn while you learn from the best hands in the business. The Bricklayers Allied Craft Workers for Indiana, Kentucky Apprenticeship. That's right, this is a paid apprenticeship.
I'm getting an education while learning a trade and getting paid for it.
The thing that surprised me the most about this apprenticeship program is the respect I've received after the proper time and training.
Classes start soon, so apply now. There are training centers throughout Indiana and Kentucky. We are the Bricklayers and Allied Craft Workers for Indiana, Kentucky Apprenticeship. The best hands in the business.
This box is small, like Pet Supplies Plus. This one is large, like a big box store. In each, Stu, hi Stu, has carefully hidden a toy. Question is, which dog will find it first? Ta-da! Moose, no! You were so close.
Four Seasons Mechanical proudly serves Northwest Indiana, providing quality, reasonably priced, reliable service. With a quality and comfort guarantee, the professionals at Four Seasons Mechanical offer a wide range of services in heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. Whether it's residential or commercial, Four Seasons Mechanical is there 24/7. To find out more, the website is fourseasonsmechanical.com or give them a call at 219-756-7020. Four Seasons Mechanical, your indoor air quality specialist.
Hi, this is Tim down at Tire Pros and Auto Superstore, 5200 Cleveland in Maryville. 219-887-3333 is our phone number. We've been serving the region and building relationships with our valued customers for the past 23 years. We have a wide variety of services, quality tires with the best warranty in the nation, and some of the most skilled mechanics I've ever worked with. Let us exceed your expectations. We're setting a new standard. Come on down, ask for Mike or Tim. We'll take excellent care of you. Thank you.
How far would you go to live another game night in the region? Well, lucky for you, you don't have to go far at all. At Region Sports Network, we have a collection of over thousands of games, ranging from last week to the 1960s. Now, you can relive the thrilling victories, heartbreaking defeats, and all the things that make Region Sports so great. Talk to us here at RSN and help us remember the region. Please visit Remember the Region with the link on the screen or through our link tree found on all of our social media platforms. # Remember the Region.
Welcome back to Game Night here on the Region Sports Network. Michael Brenner here along with Mike Jamia. getting a little fancy here on the Region Sports Network now. They've got Zach Miller on the camera here. He's doing his best to hold things steady and focusing it in on our mugs. I don't know why we do that, but hey, not a bad look, right?
No. I mean, great game too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really great game.
Well, that's right. It's about the game, right?
Nothing changes for us. We just got a camera in our face now, right? But
the only game in town. Yeah, Portage gets the win, 60-47. Lake Central with their first loss of the season, and we keep talking about that Portage identity. And tonight, definitely looks like this team is a team that could make a nice run if they can stay healthy like this and look that way through sectionals.
Yeah, and it's just going to be a matter of them, getting it done in the defensive effort. Right, being able to get out, use their athleticism, pressure teams, get takeaways, and being able to finish around the hoop is something that they've displayed that they have the capability to do. You had referenced earlier in their game against Hammond Central where Jalen Johnson was the big standout there. Sam Wellman, Michael Wellman, night in and night out, they, garner a lot of attention for their scoring capabilities on the block. So that's a team that's shown that they can get it done inside, and a team that is showing that they obviously have the capability to shoot from the outside as well. So, this Portage team, balanced attack, a lot of different scores, but tonight we saw them get it done defensively, get out in transition, and they put an undefeated team away.
Yeah, a lot of weapons to use for this team going forward. Let's go and take a look at our award winners here tonight. We've got the Crowd Company's Lantern Man Superhero of the game. The Crowd Company's trying to recognize the superheroes on the basketball court. Where do you want to go with this one, Mike?
Superhero of the game, Omari Evans. He had 17 points in this one. He led the charge for Portage in the backcourt, leading scorer in tonight's game as well. And, doing an outstanding job two ways, defensively. Him and Jay-Sean King did a good job in the backcourt, on defense. And so, but Omari Evans, a lot of big shots in this one and momentum killers and, did everything he had to be a superhero in this one.
And kind of felt like when maybe that inside presence from Jalen Johnson wasn't there, he was in there to get the layups in to penetrate inside the lane. So Omari Evans, our Crowd Company's Lantern Man Superhero of the game. We'll go with the play of the game presented by Region Sports Network. That one comes in the third quarter. Always fun when we get a few dunks. We don't have those too often, so the two-handed Michael Wellman jam in that third quarter will be our play of the game presented by the Region Sports Network. And then we've got our blue-collar player of the game presented by the Region Sports Network as well.
Yeah, Noah Sabador, he had 5 threes for 15 points in this one, and he was draining threes, as late as, in the final waning moments of that fourth quarter and doing everything he can, to propel his team, to victory and cutting the deficit. And so, and he made some tough threes too.
Oh, yeah.
The three he made in the left corner there, that was filthy, off balance and, hand in his face. But, he had to let it fly in this one, and he certainly did, and he made it rain for 15.
Yeah,
so,
certainly keeping 15 points, keeping Lake Central within this one as they come away with the first loss of the season for them. All right, our executive producer is Chris Ramirez. Our operations manager is Rich Castillo. Our coordinating producer is the guy behind the camera that's looking at us right now. That is Zach Miller. And then over here to my left, off to the side, over here is Mike Dewan. There he is. He was doing the camera here at midcourt. He's also our sports director doing the camera. Justin Cole doing a great job on production. There he is. Yes, sir. He always gives us the countdowns of when to come in and all that good stuff. So it makes us sound good, which is not easy to do. He's Mike Jamia. I'm Mike Brenner. And we are your broadcasters for tonight. And a big thanks to the coaches, Coach Sexton and Coach Klaus, for giving us everything we needed for today's game, along with the athletic directors, Brett St. Germain and Chris Enyart, for Portage and Lake Central, respectively. And, of course, you, the viewers, on Facebook, YouTube, and regionsports.com. Without you guys, we wouldn't be able to do what we do. So thank you very much. Stay tuned the rest of the week. We got plenty of hoops action. We've got the PCC Tournament Championship games tomorrow, boys and girls tomorrow over at Boone Grove. So tune in for those. It should be a fun night. We've got more DAC basketball coming up over the weekend as well, and plenty more coverage on the Region Sports Network. So don't go anywhere. Just stay tuned here on the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.